Okay, in this podcast we're going to talk about solutions, specifically dilutions. So one of the things that we do as chemistry teachers often is we make dilutions. If we need a solution that has a specific molarity for a lab, it's a lot of times easier to just take a solution that's already been made and dilute it rather than start with this solid and dissolve it. So we're going to show you how we do that, and we're going to start by talking about what happens when we dilute something. So let's take two solutions. Let's call this A and this B, right? And on the left we have 0.1 liter of a 10 molar solution, and on the right we have 1 liter of a 1 molar solution. So the first question is, which is more concentrated? Well, it's obvious that the 10 molar is more concentrated. It's got 10 moles for every liter, whereas the 1 molar has 1 mole for every liter. But when we ask the question, which has more sodium chloride, we need to dig a little deeper. So if I look at my equation, molarity is moles over liters, then to get moles, I can put this over 1 and I can cross multiply. Molarity times liters is going to give me moles. So moles is molarity times liters. Okay. So once I've done that for A, so moles of A is going to be 10 is my molarity. My liters are 0.1, so this is going to give me 1 mole, right? For B, solution B, I have 1 molar and I have 1 liter, and that's also going to give me 1 mole. So as it turns out, both of these have an equal amount of sodium chloride. And that makes sense. So if I start with a 10 molar solution and I dilute it 10 times, I'm not adding any more salt, any more sodium chloride. All I'm doing is adding more water. So the amount of sodium chloride hasn't changed. Okay, so let's take a look at some problems. So the equation for dilution, the key here is that the moles beforehand and the moles after I dilute are the same. The number of moles are the same, but the molarity changes. So if moles are equal, then what we know, we just did this, moles, molarity is moles over liters, or moles over volume. So molarity times volume is equal to moles, right? So moles 1 is its molarity times its volume. Moles 2 is its molarity times its volume. Okay, so this is the equation that people refer to when they talk about dilutions. M1V1 equals M2V2. And here we're talking about before dilution and after dilution. Alright, so here we have a problem. How much 18 molar sulfuric acid is needed to prepare 250 milliliters of a 6 molar solution? Okay, so if I start, let's identify what each value is. Alright, so up here this would be my M1, right? My starting molarity, and I want to know how much. So that's going to be my V1, right? I'm trying to find my V1. That's my question mark, right? And my second volume is what I dilute to, and my molarity 2. Okay? So in the equation N1V1 equals M2V2, I'm going to take my molarity, starting M1, 18 molar, times my volume, which is I'm trying to find, right? Volume 1 is equal to my molarity 2, which is 6.0, times my volume. Now I have 250 milliliters. Now if I multiply this times 0.25 liters, it gives me moles. But as long as I have volume in the same units on either side, I can use any units. So 250 milliliters. Okay? So again, as long as if I use 250 milliliters here, milliliters, I got to have milliliters in my answer. Okay, to get the volume by itself, I'm going to divide this side by 18 so it cancels. I divide this side by 18 so it cancels. And we end up with 83 milliliters. Okay, let's take a look at another. Alright, now we have 0.5 liters of a 4 molar solution, and we want to dilute it to 4 liters. Okay, and what's the final concentration? So this is my volume 1, my molarity 1, this is my volume 2, and I'm trying to find my molarity 2. That's my question mark. So M1V1 equals M2V2. M1 is 4.0. Volume 1 is 0.50 equals my molarity 2, which I'm trying to find, times my volume, which is 4.0 liters, right? So if I want to get my molarity alone, I'm going to divide both sides by 4.0. And conveniently this cancels, and I get my molarity 2 is 0.50 molar. Okay, let's take a look at another. Alright, this one asks, to what volume should 25 milliliters of a 15 molar nitric acid be diluted? Okay, so to prepare a 3 molar. So I'm starting with, this is my B1, M1, M2, and I'm trying to find V2, right? M1 V1 equals M2 V2. M1 is 15, V1 is 25. This is milliliters, so I'm going to make sure I remember that. My molarity is 3.0, and I'm trying to find my volume. Divide both sides by 3. This will cancel out, and I get my volume is equal to 125. And because I had milliliters here, I need to have milliliters here. Okay, let's do one more. Oops. Alright, so here I have a solution. Is diluted from 25 milliliters to 220. Final concentration is 0.1 molar. What is the original concentration? So M1V1 equals M2V2 is diluted from 25 milliliters to 220 milliliters is my V2. Final concentration is 0.10 molar, and I'm trying to find the original concentration, which is my M1. So I'm going to divide both sides by 25 milliliters, and the units will cancel, 25 will cancel, and I end up with 0.88 molar. Okay, and that is going to do it.